Continuing the series on good academic practice for students of arts and humanities subjects, this video gives advice and tips on exam preparation. I was good at sitting exams when I was at school, but when I went to university I found them incredibly stressful. And even as a lecturer invigilating my students sitting their exams, I felt tremendous anxiety for them in those huge, uncomfortable, noisy halls. If, like me, it's the environment in which exams are sat that's the issue, just know that you're not alone, you're not suffering on your own, and all you can do is your best. Being as prepared and as knowledgeable as possible when you go in should allay some of the stress though, and here is my advice for exam survival and hopefully success. Revisit the relevant primary and supporting texts from your course. Seek out relevant secondary texts to expand your knowledge and show independent learning. Look again at any class notes or materials you have. Take fresh notes on all of these to get into the habit of writing and conveying the ideas. Reread the module or course aims and objectives and what is expected of students upon completion. Addressing those more broadly will keep you on track. Consider class topics or course themes in relation to the study texts. What contexts might be relevant? Historical, social, political, cultural, industrial, personal? Do not suffer in silence if you encounter problems with your revision. This applies always during your studies. If something is unclear or you doubt yourself, contact your instructor. No question is silly if the answer puts your mind at ease. You must follow the exam paper's instructions and be clear on how many questions you need to answer, whether you must answer questions from different sections and how many, the exam's duration, what topics you need to avoid, for example, on which you may have already completed another assignment. Read and understand the questions carefully. Be sure you grasp what you're being asked about. Are you being asked about specific texts, theoretical approaches, works or trends across a period, a movement, a canon, techniques and aesthetics, a combination of different kinds of themes and issues? What kind of discussion are you being asked to have? Is it close textual analysis? And most answers should probably do this at some point anyway. Is it a compare or contrast question? Is it a discussion, a debate? Are you being asked to examine something? Is the scope broad or is it narrow? It is important not to presume that the questions are leading you to produce a correct answer. It is up to you to demonstrate your informed observations and conclusions based on evidenceable knowledge to provide a convincing answer. When addressing the questions, take time to plan your answers out so they flow and form cogent argumentation. Try to show range across your knowledge, but keep everything relevant to the question asked. Do not waste time on trivia. Every word counts in addressing the questions, and you're not writing a review. Broad questions might best be addressed by focusing on specifics that are indicative of the bigger picture. Essay-based exam answers must have an introduction, body and conclusion, and do try and see the essay writing video for more detailed advice on structure. But briefly, an effective structure could be a contextual introduction, an argument built from in-depth consideration of connected themes and issues and detailed illustrative examples, a conclusion drawing together the points you've demonstrated and what your informed observations suggest about the bigger issues posed by the question. Always be clear, reasoned and logical. Avoid vague implications. Always state exactly what you mean. Demonstrate all claims through examples from what you can recall from sources. Make descriptions as accurate as possible and be clear about why you read the text in the way you do. Do use and show your understanding of subject-specific terminology and technical language wherever this is relevant. And just some general practical tips for you. Divide your time appropriately for each answer. For example, if you have 2 hours to answer 2 questions, allow about 5 minutes to think and plan and about 50 to 55 minutes to write the answers for each. Awareness of the weighting of each question will help you work out timings beforehand. Essay-based exam questions are often equally weighted, and the best chance of attaining a good overall mark is to keep them as even in length and quality as you can. If possible, give yourself time to read over your answers so you can amend spelling errors, neaten up the writing, or fill in information you might have forgotten. If the exam is on paper, it is advisable to set aside working out pages. Simply score out anything you don't want to be marked. Also, leave a blank page between answers in case you have time or need to add something to earlier answers. If the exam is unseen, direct quotations are unlikely to be expected. Paraphrasing is really good practice. Be sure to know and acknowledge who said what and in what context. Don't trip yourself up on florid academic language. You'll save time and write with more clarity by avoiding overuse of adjectives and howevers, therefores, moreovers, ways and whiches, and so on. Just declutter your language as much as possible. Do your best to write as neatly and cogently as you can. If sitting an exam online or using a computer, watch out for typos and spelling mistakes. Write in full sentences instead of notes. Avoid sentence fragments. Avoid acronyms, at least on the first mention of the term. Nothing should be ambiguous to your examiner. For example, you need to show that you know what an extreme close-up is and what significant uses of it there are in a film. Simply noting that an ECU occurred in a clip won't score you very many points. Remember, examiners are looking for quality over quantity. A solid, convincing argument that is 2 pages long is likely to perform better than 6 pages of waffle that is irrelevant to the question. Above all, remain calm. Rushed, panicked answers are difficult to read, and panicking does you no good anyway. Just take it easy, keep breathing, and write as clearly as you can. Like giving presentations as discussed in the previous video, get through it as best you can. If you're well prepared, that will make it so much easier. If you find this presentation interesting or useful, please share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much to those of you who already have. I provide these videos for free, but they take a lot of time and work to prepare. If you feel able to make a financial contribution to their production, please donate in British pounds via paypal.me/PEA Blair, or consider paying a monthly subscription of an amount of your choice in US dollars on patreon.com/PEA Blair. Pledges of any amount on Patreon will enable access to transcriptions of my videos that include bibliographical references and links to further information. If you pledge at least $5 a month, you will receive a credit in future videos and an acknowledgement in future print publications. My Patreon page also links to my audio recordings, blog posts and publication list. Any money received goes towards sustaining and improving the educational resources I make, and will facilitate a website I'm developing dedicated to wide accessible study of audiovisual cultures. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you soon.